Hey, friends, welcome back to Her Faith at Work. Today's episode is a guest episode, and I get to introduce you to my friend, Lindsay Fletcher. She is a growth strategy coach, and Lindsay helps women in small business create profitable connections through building referral partnerships and deeper client relationships. She is also a really great podcaster, and I'm going to leave all of the information for how to find her podcast in the show notes. But her podcast is called How to Grow Your Small Business, and it is fantastic. So you need to put it on your playlist for sure. Today's episode with Lindsay is going to really enrich your business. I think it's going to give you maybe some perspective shifts on a couple of things, but it was just such a great conversation. I'm so excited to bring it to you today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no-nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, exploring how intimately faith applies to every part of your life, and how you can live that faith every single day in the marketplace. I felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of the few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share her faith at work. Oh, gotta love technology. Hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast. You may be wondering why I'm chuckling because I hit record and then it didn't say, this is recording. And I'm like, is it recording? Is it not recording? I don't know. And then it was like this delayed, this is recording. Anyway, gotta love technology. Yeah. Welcome back to
Wonderful when
the
it works.
podcast, everybody. Absolutely. You guys get to have such a special insight into a conversation that I'm going to have today. And you're going to be so jealous that I get to have the conversation and you don't, because the person that I'm introducing you to is absolutely amazing. We finally had to hit record because we were talking about all the good stuff and none of it was being captured. So anyway, I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Lindsay Fletcher. You heard a little bit about her in the intro. And so Lindsay, thank you for being here. Tell everybody about you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. You're right. We all the good stuff was not on the recording. I don't know. Anyway,
We'll circle back. It's fine.
I'm Lindsay Fletcher. I call myself a relationship strategist for business women. Um, I help people develop really great business relationships, and I do that through teaching networking, sales, lead generation, follow up, those types of things. So thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as I hope I don't keep referring back to the conversation we were having pre-recording, but it as we were talking about building relationships and you teaching people how to have conversations, man, it's sad to say that having a conversation with another human being without it being through a device is a lost art, but it really is a lost
It
art.
it sort of is, yes. It
Yeah.
really is. I see it in my teenagers the most, right?
Oh, sure.
But we've all kind of retreated back behind our phones and back behind our computers. And so
Hmm.
when we actually do get into conversation with other people about our business or the services or products that we could help them solve a problem with, we freeze because we don't know what to say.
Right.
And we don't know
Yeah.
how to have that conversation. We don't know what questions we need answered. We don't know what it how we should position ourselves within
Hmm.
that conversation.
Yeah. That I mean it's hard. It's hard for me. I'm would consider myself an introvert. I don't know if you consider
Same.
yourself. Oh, okay, really?
I actually would, yeah.
Okay, that actually is a little bit shocking to me because um you said something earlier in our talk that I think so few people in the world would identify with, that you actually love sales.
I do. I love sales. I love it. I love it so much.
Okay.
But here's what I
I'm
love about it. I love
okay,
the
tell me.
psychology and the science of it.
Okay.
And a lot of people in my world would probably be very shocked to hear that I am an introvert. walking into a room full of strangers is not something that I enjoy. It's
Oh,
not
me either.
something that I like seek out.
Yeah.
But I have learned how to navigate those types of situations by I've learned how to small talk. I've learned how to ask great questions and get
Mm,
people talking. And then I
yeah.
ask more questions and then I know how to lead you to the water. I can't make you drink,
Right.
right? But I love the science and
Yeah.
the psychology of sales the most.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
that I think if people looked at it from that perspective,
yeah.
more people might fall into the same
Oh my
category of
goodness,
loving
yes.
sales, you know,
Yes.
because they look at it because conversations are hard and
Mm-hmm.
they're talking, I'm using air quotes if you're not watching this, talking people into doing something that
Yes.
they don't necessarily want to do. But if you're looking at it from a sciencey and psychology perspective, I think people might change their positioning because
Mm-hmm.
you're changing your mental,
Yeah.
it's your mental way that you're connecting with the subject of sales versus
Yeah.
the emotional way that you're connecting with the subject of sales, which is hard.
Yes. Yes. And I would also say, um, not only the psychology and the science behind it, but I truly believe that sales is serving. So let me walk you through
Mhm.
the way my brain works here.
Yeah.
If I if I come to you, Jan, and you tell me you have a problem, okay? Let's say, I don't know, you need your hair cut, okay?
Okay.
Let's just I'm gonna go with it. I'm making it up on the fly here, but we'll go with it, okay?
Okay. Go with it.
You say, Lindsay, oh my gosh, I need a haircut so bad. And I'm your friend, and I know someone that cuts hair,
Hmm.
but I abstain from telling you that I know someone that cuts hair.
Mm.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing in sales. If we as business owners have the solution to someone's problem and we are not telling them about it,
Yeah.
we're being a mean girl.
I love that. I love that. Somebody out there just had an aha moment, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's so good. So
Right?
I want to get, not that that was not meaty, but I do want to get into what I'm going to consider the meat of this episode because
Sure.
um, something that I something that I read when we first started talking really sparked my curiosity when you said that one of the things you like to discuss is the three things that you wish you knew.
Oh my goodness, girl. So,
And I want you to dig into those because when I read what those were, I'm like, oh yeah.
mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Okay. So let me walk you back a couple decades in
Oh,
my life
please.
here.
Yes.
So I was telling you, Jan, earlier that my background's in audiology. I worked in the clinic for lots of years, then moved over into hearing technology sales. So my background is in clinical work and sales. However, back when my teenagers, I have four kids and I have two that are teenagers. Back when my teenagers were toddlers, I was working part-time clinically and then I was home part-time. And I am not someone that I love working, like I'm really good at working. I know it
Hmm.
sounds ridiculous, but anyway, I love working. I'm good at it. And I was looking for kind of a side hustle or something that I could kind of do in the nooks of and crannies of being home with my boys
Yep.
while they were napping. I love learning. I love like I'm just a I'm a kind of a forever student. So I'm constantly getting myself into things that like I'm like, whoa, I don't need to make a business out of this. Okay. So back when they were
Me too.
little, yeah, back when they were little, I started from the time they were like toddlers, and my oldest is 16 now. So like back when they were toddlers, I've probably started and stopped slash failed. I don't know if you want to call it failure because I learned a lot from all of it, but
Sure.
I've started and stopped about five or six businesses. I joined a couple MLMs because I loved the products and I knew that they could help other people. I tried a photography business. And over the course of time, stopped those businesses because I couldn't figure out a few things.
Hmm.
And now that my husband and I own a local successful service business, we've built a seven-figure business. Um, I now know the three things I was missing back when I started all those side hustles and businesses that I was trying to grow. The,
Okay.
so the first thing that I would say is you have to have a vision of where you want the business to be in the future. Okay. So like,
Mhm.
so when we're talking like vision, the scripture always comes up like, where there is no vision, the people perish. Well, if you translate that into business, kind of a business thought process, it's more like where you have no vision, you're disconnected, you're unproductive, you're right, like you don't really have anywhere to go. It's like getting in your car and driving aimlessly and not
Yeah.
knowing where your destination is, right? Like,
Yep. No GPS.
right, no GPS. Your vision is your GPS. So I really didn't know. And also my, like I said, my background's in corporate America, and there's kind of that unwritten rule that you leave faith at the door. Like you can be
Yeah.
a Christian out there, but inside
Yeah.
these four walls, and you can't see my hands, I'm moving them around. But inside these walls of this business, your faith isn't necessarily welcome here, right? And so as an entrepreneurial spirited person, I didn't really know to pray about that.
Hmm.
I didn't really know to say, hey, God, what do you think about this? What do you think I should, like, where do you want this to go? Do you even want me doing this? And if so, what does that look like
Right.
5 years from now or a year from now, right? So I would say pray about the vision of where you want things to go, because if you don't have a plan or if you don't have a destination,
Hmm.
you can't map it back to where you are now.
Right.
And then write it down. And obviously, like in however you say the book of Habakkuk
Habakkuk.
or
Yeah.
whatever, however you say that, I always say it wrong, and I know that it's not the right way. Anyway, it's write it down
Yep.
plain so that people can see it. And there's something about taking it and running with it. It's so that you can you can look back at it and go, okay, I'm staying on this vision. I'm staying
Mm.
on this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Does this new project, does this new client, does this new shiny object over here align with where I want to be in 5 years?
Right.
Because there's so many shiny things.
So many.
So many.
All the things.
All the shiny things. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is connecting with leads and connecting with customers and being able to have a conversation with them.
Hmm.
So I mentioned that I had a little photography business. I was actually pretty good at the photography part of it. I really was terrible at the business part.
Okay.
Mostly because I was following all of these photographers that were well known. I have no idea if they were actually making a living at what they were doing, but they had massive followings. They had, it looked like they were making lots of money. And I was
Yep.
like, I love the creativity of photography. I was actually pretty good at it. I loved the editing. I loved all of the things and the creative space of that part. I just didn't understand the business of it, right? And
Hmm.
so I look back and I'm like, my two favorite things to shoot were high school seniors and families. And what I didn't realize is I thought that the senior girls were the customers. The senior
Mm.
girls were not the customers. The mamas were the customers,
Absolutely. Yes.
right? The moms were the ones writing the checks
Yep.
for it, right?
Hmm.
And so I didn't understand that I needed to connect with the moms. I needed to have the photography for the girls to look at and go, yeah, I want my pictures taken by her.
Hmm.
But I didn't know that I needed to market to the moms who were going to be
Mm.
paying the check.
I got it. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so then having the conversation with the moms about what it is they want their daughter's photography session to look like. Like what are they
Hmm.
envisioning? What are their dreams for them? Like really getting them in their feels about it.
Hmm.
And so I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could go back and do that again, which I'm not going to do, I would do things so differently.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I feel like so two things. I think that understanding the vision piece,
Hmm.
I feel like especially like the time this probably isn't going to drop until 2026. So
Yeah,
you're probably
sure.
listening to this already after the beginning of the year.
Yep.
But at the time of recording, end of December, I think all the business owners are in vision mode. Um, they are figuring out what their plan is going to look like.
Hmm.
And I think some of us write it down.
Yeah.
Because we know that we should write it down.
Hmm.
But here's the part that I feel like people miss is the going back to it, right? That's why
Hmm.
you write it down. You said it.
Hmm.
You write it down so you can go back to it.
Yep.
And then I think it's getting with the Lord and saying, is this still,
Yes.
am I still on track? Is this still the vision that you have for me?
Yes.
Just because you write it down doesn't mean that it has to be a year vision or a 3-year vision or a 5-year vision.
Right.
Maybe it's a quarter vision.
Hmm.
And, and when's the time that we pivot?
Right.
And so but that's, if you don't write it down, how the heck are you going to know
Right.
if you're on track? And
Hmm.
you gotta do that. So
Hmm.
important. And then I so identify, and we've already talked a little bit about the communication piece, but knowing who you're communicating with.
Hmm.
Because if you're not communicating with the right person,
Right.
hello,
Right. Hello.
hello.
You're missing
You're
it.
you're missing it. Your funnel is incorrect.
Yes.
That's why I think, sorry, total tangent here, guys. We're going to talk about email segmentation for a second because that's why email segmentation for a business owner is so stinking important.
Yes.
Because if you are sending an email that has a a super specific niche to your complete email list, you wonder why your open rate keeps going down
Yep.
or your unsubscribe rate keeps going up because
Hmm.
you're not talking to the right people about the
Yes.
right things. So it is so massively important in business to know who you're talking to and why you're talking to them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious if you have ever had a client where it's the female at
Hmm.
this is going to sound very sexist and I'm sorry, but so if it's the female who is the client, but in order to make a big financial decision, she feels like she needs to also get her husband on board.
Every day, all day.
I knew you
Every
were
day,
going to
all
say
day.
that.
Every day, all day.
Okay,
Well,
advice for that really quick.
well, first of all, don't be offended by it. I mean, that would be
Yeah,
the first thing is that if I'm making a large purchase, my
yeah,
husband and I don't do that without consulting each other.
right. Yep.
It's just an accountability thing in
Absolutely.
our
Yeah,
marriage, you know. So number one, don't be offended by it.
yeah.
Number two, um, I either ask to meet with the other person who's going to help make the decision so that
Hmm.
I can have a conversation and I can guide that,
Oh, that's really
or
good.
or I ask what information they're going to need. So
Okay.
I'm going to direct you guys to a podcast episode that I've done, and I think it's episode 42. Don't get me, I will give this to Jan to make sure. It's on buying styles. So one thing to know about buying and selling psychology is that most people fit into one bucket of four. Now
Mm.
we can have there's four kind of main buying styles and how we decide to purchase. And when I say purchase, I don't just mean exchanging of dollars. I mean buying into faith, buying this is how cults become a thing. It's real stuff.
Hmm.
Um you know, how we determine to buy into a belief or type of thinking or purchase with our money is very, very similar. And so,
Hmm.
for example, I am what you call an achiever. I am a fast paced, get it done. I don't need to know the details. I need you to show me that I'm going to get the gold star at the end. Like that's the kind of buyer I am. I want the outcome and I want everyone to know I made a great decision. Okay.
Okay.
My husband is what I would call an analyzer. He's slow, methodical, he's data driven. He will search the depths of the internet, like
Hmm.
the depths. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and we're not even talking big decisions. I'm talking like hunting jackets. Okay.
Okay.
Like we
Sure.
compare and contrast.
Yep.
As a buyer, he is concerned with the outcome, but he is concerned with being with ruling out all the other options, and
Uh-huh.
he wants security in his decision.
Okay.
Not in a boastful, I'm right kind of way, but
Hmm.
in an I've eliminated all these other options as the best option for me, and I feel really good in my decision.
Hmm.
Okay. And then there are sympathizers who are really concerned about the people around them.
Yep.
They're also slow and methodical and risk averse. And then you've got your relators who are outgoing, fast paced. They're the people that will buy from you and they don't even need what you've got, but because they like you, they sign the check. Like I don't know, people don't sign checks anymore, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they'll swipe the card. Like
Yeah.
like so there are four different types of buyers, and by me asking the woman, well, what kind of information is your husband going to need? She's going to tell
Mm,
me what type of buyer he likely is. And then I can
good.
arm her with data, with how this is going to impact their team or the people around them. Or, if he's a relator, I'm going to say, hey, let's meet for coffee. And I'm going to like show up and put my
Yeah.
relator hat on, and I'm going to charm the pants off of him, right? And I'm going to help build trust with him.
Mm.
If he's outcomes driven, then I'm going to show him the outcomes that I can provide for his wife.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Right.
That's
So
so good.
as I ask questions and I get that information from the woman that's trying to make this decision and needs to consult either her husband or her boss or, whatever, whoever it is, I'm gaining information and figuring out, okay, what type of buyer are they? What information are they actually going to need to then make
Yeah.
the purchase?
Oh my gosh, so good.
And that's where
So
the fun sales stuff is in the psychology.
I love
I'm
that.
telling you, I'm going to make all of you love sales by the end of
Oh,
this
that's
episode.
so funny. So funny. So, all of you coaches who are looking at a new or maybe rebooted, or maybe
Hmm.
you're staying the course offer in 2026 that is considered high ticket, you
Yeah.
need to go listen to this episode
Yes.
of Lindsay's podcast. And it's linked in the show notes. Her podcast is How to Grow Your Small Business, which is super easy to remember. Great title. We've already talked about that. I'm jealous of her title of her, but um, y'all need to go listen to that because you're gonna need this for selling your stuff
Yes.
this year. Okay. And then I think I wanna wrap up because you said something in your podcast guest form about return on investment
Hmm.
of your time and your money and your marketing.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think the majority of business owners do not count return on investment or ROI
Hmm.
because they're not looking at the data.
No.
And so, how do you know if something is working if you're not looking at the things?
Right.
And if you're not going back and reviewing, whether you're a data nerd like me or not, you got to go back and review after you do something so that you know if it's worth it or not.
Right.
So, talk
Yes.
to me a little bit about ROI.
So ROI to me is a stewardship issue when
Mm,
it comes to like my Christian belief system, right?
yeah.
So if I go back to the parable of the talents, and if I am to multiply what God is giving me,
Hmm.
that means I need to multiply my time, my income, my reach, my resources. Like I am to multiply as a business owner, I am to multiply everything I touch, or at least attempt, right? Not
Right.
in a striving way, but attempt to multiply everything he's given me. My
Yep.
team, like I need to multiply anyone that's underneath us. We need to multiply their skills, right? So when we're looking at ROI, it's a stewardship heart issue
Mm,
for me, or to me, I guess. It's more of a how can I steward all of these things that God has put in our sphere or in our business? How can we multiply these things, and what does that look like? So
yeah.
when we talk about marketing, if God is calling you to be on social media and that is a place that he wants you marketing your business, okay, is your audience 40 to 35 to 55 years old? Are they 20 to 30 years old? Like where's your demographic living, right?
Right.
So for
Hmm.
us in our local service-based business, the majority of our people are on Facebook because of their homeowners. They have families. Like that's where they live in the digital marketing space. So we're
Hmm.
not on TikTok actually. We have a TikTok account. I posted 4 times. And then I was like,
Oh,
what am I doing? I think we
why am
had
I doing this?
26. Yeah, I think we had 26 followers. Like
It's
it's
peer pressure.
hilarious to me. Yes, it was peer pressure. It was absolutely peer
Yeah,
pressure. But
absolutely.
it was the world saying you have to be here. You
Hmm.
have to be there. You have to be doing these things.
Yep.
And when it really came down to it, I mean, I posted 4 videos and I didn't really stick around long enough to see what would even happen there.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
knew my people didn't live there, right? Like
Yeah.
I knew my people were not in the TikTok space necessarily looking for our service. They were on Facebook asking their neighborhood groups, hey, who
Hmm.
do you use for this?
Oh, heck yes.
And so when you're looking at your ROI, where are your, and especially in marketing, where are your leads actually coming from? And then
Mhm.
of those leads, how many did you close sales on? And where did that smaller number of sales, because you're going to get a higher number of leads and then it's going to funnel down, right? That's visual representation. By the time
Yep.
they're ready to purchase, it's going to be a smaller number that you actually convert to a sale than it is the people that actually contact you, right? Or see your stuff.
Hmm.
So when you look at your sales conversion number, where did those people come from? Because
Hmm.
that's what we need to do more of. Now,
Yeah.
you may have gotten leads from Instagram and you may have gotten leads from TikTok and you may have gotten leads from this thing over here. But when it comes down to your sales, those dollars that hit your bank account, where did those people come from? Was that
Right.
a networking group? Was it an ad in a local something or other that's going on, like some sort of publication or maybe a radio station that's still really hopping in your area? It really depends
Hmm.
on where did those sales come from? Where did those people come from? And how did they
Yeah.
find you there?
Yeah. So good.
Right?
So good. So I'm curious, this just data nerd stuff. How do you
Mhm.
keep track of all your different things that you keep
Yeah.
track of?
So in our service-based business, we use tags. We just tag people. Like if they came from Facebook, we tag them Facebook. If we tag,
In
like
your CRM?
we just use
Okay.
tags that way.
Yeah.
Because ours is more of a they call the office. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not like through online funnels types of
Uh-huh.
things.
Hmm.
For my coaching business, my sales consulting business, I also use tags, but I also have the automations that tell me where they came from, right? Like,
Yeah.
did they get this Facebook ad and then they got to this sales funnel and then they entered there? So it's really keeping track. And if you don't know, start asking. Hey, how did you
Mm.
find us?
So good.
I mean, that's all it takes
Yep.
is, hey, how did you find us? Oh, I found
Yep.
you on Facebook, or oh, I found you on TikTok, or oh, my friend so and so. And
Hmm.
then that's an opportunity to go back to the friend so and so and say, thank you so much for sending me your neighbor. We so appreciate you. And they love you even more.
Absolutely. And
And
they're
that's
going to tell
and
more
that's a way to follow
friends.
up. Yep.
Yep. That's so good. So, so good. So, is there anything else that you feel a burning in your, deep in your gut that you need to tell people
Mm,
before we close out this episode because it has already been so rich?
yes, you are in sales.
Surprise.
Surprise! You are in sales. Whether you are a mom of a toddler, you're selling broccoli. If you are a preacher on stage, you're selling Jesus. If you are a nasty human being at the grocery store, you're selling a bad attitude. We're all in
Mm,
sales. We're all in sales.
so good. So good. So, what I'm going to translate that into being you better learn to love it because you're in
Yes.
it anyway.
And and when you learn the psychology and the science behind it, it's just so fascinating.
Yeah,
So
so
fascinating.
good. So good. Well, thank you for this conversation. It
Oh
has
my
been
gosh.
so rich,
Thank
so
you so much for
amazing.
having me.
Tell people how they can find you.
Oh goodness. So before we hit record and it delayed and all the
Yeah.
things, I was telling Jan that I'm not really on social media anymore. I do have it's a Facebook community called She Builds. You can find me inside there. I do have a Facebook page. It's not super active. I think I posted on Instagram maybe I don't know, 6 months, a year ago. I don't really remember when I posted my last thing on Instagram. You can email me at hello@lindsayfletcher.co. You can find me at my website, lindsayfletcher.co, and then inside my community. I'm not really anywhere else.
Oh, that's great. You don't have to.
No,
apologize to this
no.
non-social media girl
Yeah, girl.
at all. In
Yeah.
fact, I this will be a this will for sure be a 2026 episode, so y'all stay tuned because
Yes.
I'm going to have Lindsay come back and some other of my friends who are also not super marketing on social media, and we're going to have a conversation
Oh, I would
about how
love
you can
that.
still grow a business without using social media for marketing.
Oh, I love it.
Hallelujah. Okay,
Yes,
so
and amen.
that's a little sneak peek. There you go.
I love that.
2026 is coming. So anyway, Lindsay, thank you so much for your time
Thank you
today.
for
This has
having
been
me.
amazing. I'm
Such a
so
fun conversation.
excited for people to connect with you on your podcast. So
Yes.
everybody, it's gonna all of her links are gonna be in the show
Mhm.
notes. And I know people are like, oh, good gravy, Jan. How do we have to go to the show notes?
Yes,
Well,
ma'am, you do.
I mean, you kind of do, but you can also go to my website, jantouchfree.com/podcast, and you can see all the different episodes there.
Hmm.
And Lindsay's beautiful face will pop up, and you
Oh,
can
thank
find her
you.
that way as well. So, you guys, thank you for being here again today for an episode of Her Faith at Work. And Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.